Hi everyone, welcome to Walnut Cookies Part 2. Let's begin. First, we need to portion out the dough, and I use a half a teaspoon for that. Depending on your walnut cookie maker, you may need a smaller size or a bigger size spoon to portion out your dough. It's very important to put those portions in the maker as quick as possible because you don't want the maker to cool off. It affects the timing and how it makes the walnut cookie halves. So that is why we pre-make them. In this walnut cookie maker, it takes me about 1 minute and 45 seconds to 2 minutes. If you want them to be darker, just cook them longer. The timer is done now, and we will empty the walnut cookie maker onto the plate or tray. It's your choice. Here are walnut cookie halves that we will fill. I fill it with the mixture of cream cheese and condensed sweetened milk that was caramelized. You can buy this at the store or you can make it yourself. I often make it myself because buying at the store is not always an option. All the information will be linked in the description below. If you want to know how to make your own caramelized condensed sweetened milk, just comment below and I will make a short video showing you how it's done, or explaining you, I should say. This is what I was telling you about. When you cook it longer, it's a little darker. If you cook it less, then it's a little lighter, and it's all just your choice. It doesn't matter how long you keep it, as long as you don't burn it, of course. Here's an example of using a little too much dough, and then when you make the shell, it actually has excess, which is not a big deal because you can break it off. It's better to have just a little more than not enough, because then you won't have a full shell. So just remember, measuring spoon will save you time, and it will save you also dough from wasting. Now let's begin filling. I don't always use a piping bag. This is only because I use this filling for something else later, so I decided to put it in a piping bag. And I had it in the refrigerator, which is why it's a little harder to come out, but it's not a big deal. So you fill 2 halves and then you put them together. If you put just a little too much, you will see a little excess, which is not a big deal. Just scrape that off, and you can use whatever you want. I'm using a broken half that I squeezed too hard. You can use a spoon, a knife, just be gentle. Those halves are brittle if you push a little too hard. Don't be afraid. You don't have to be afraid to push them. It's just there is a point where it goes too far, and you can test it on one of the halves so that way you know how far you can push them. Another way to do it is you fill up 1 half, but you fill it up a little more than we did previously, enough to where it would actually be enough for both halves. And here you are. We filled 1 half up and the other one just went on top of it. What I like to do is sprinkle some powdered sugar over the cookies, and that is normally how I present them, whether it's in a box or on a plate, a tray. And here we are. The cookies are done and ready to be eaten. And my tea is waiting for me.
Alright, so now you have seen how the walnut cookies are made. In part 1, you have seen me make the batter, and then in part 2, you've seen me make the cookies themselves. As you have seen, I was using the electric walnut cookie maker. It's a little bigger than this one. This is my old one. I kind of broke it a little, so you gotta make sure that you're gentle with it. Don't bang it. That's what I did. One of the things that I've mentioned earlier is make sure if you have any crumbles left after you make a batch, wipe it off. You can use a towel, maybe use some old towel that you're not worried about getting greasy, because that may not wash off and it'll just look bad. Or you can use paper towels. It depends of what's available for you. And just wipe it off really quick. You do not have to, normally after you've used the cookie maker, you don't need to grease it because the batter has a lot of butter in it, so there is no need to grease it. It stays greasy. So anyway, so this is the electric one, as you have seen, and you put the batter in here and then you close it off. And if it's on the lighter side that you want them to be, then usually in the electric one, 1.5 to 2 minutes is plenty. I have made them where I cooked them for 4 minutes, but they were darker. So it's up to you what you prefer, okay? So this is the electric one. Now we're going into other options. All right, so this one is made of metal, and it's convenient because you can take it with you anywhere you go. I guess the electric one you can take with you as well, but one of the things that I haven't tried yet, I may try it, but if you go camping, for example, you could technically do this over the fire. Not necessarily the camping type dessert, but if you really wanted to, you could do it. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Pretty much similar to what the electric one is. It's just a little deeper, I believe, and the grooves are different, okay? So you put the batter in here, then you squish it and you cook. If you do happen to get this one, and all of these products will have a link in the description below, so if you do happen to get this one and you wonder how do I really use it, message me, make a comment under this video requesting a specific video for this. It takes time to make videos, so I decided that I will just introduce you to all these products, and if you are interested in a specific type, then just comment below and I'll make you a video. The next one is the silicone. So the silicone is good because you can actually squeeze them out, like pop them out, not squeeze them out, pop them out, but you have to be careful because when it's still hot, when the cookie is still hot, it's soft. It's kind of strange because it really is really soft and brittle. Once it cools off, then it can be crunchy and it holds shape. So be very gentle with your cookies. So anyways, so you put batter in here, then you have to squeeze it, then you put, what I suggest is, if you choose to go this route, I suggest you invest in special marbles that are meant for baking, and I'll have the link for an example. I personally don't use it. I usually use the electric one, and then I have a favorite one that I'll show you at the very end. What it does is it prevents the batter from swelling up, because you need that little hollow area to put the cream in, okay? The next one is metal, but individual, and it's pretty thin, very light. As you can tell, I have a lot of them in here. The downside of these is that you have to individually make them into each, because just like in the silicone, you put a batter in here and then you squeeze it with your thumb and make sure that it's spread out. Do the same thing, the marble or the foil, and you have to do it with every single one of them, and then you have to put it in the oven, bake it, and when it comes out, it's like individually flipping it. Okay, so that's the only downside of this, but I do like them, and they do have a really cool pattern that is very similar to walnuts, and I like that a lot. All right, Now we're gonna go to the walnut cookie maker. That is my most favorite. But, and there is a but, the place where I bought it doesn't exist anymore. And I was very bummed because I wish that I could put a link for you to get it. Now, I will also say, although I really like it a lot, it's one of the hardest ones to use because it's heavy. Well, they are much bigger. The holes are much bigger, as you can tell. And that means bigger shells, and that means bigger cookies. So probably, which is why it was my favorite. If you happen to have one like this, it doesn't have to be this big. I've seen them square and smaller. If you happen to have one of these, or you actually found one, because I've been looking online like crazy and I haven't seen anywhere where you could actually get this particular kind. So you put the batter in here, then one of the complicated things about this is you preheat this, so it's hot, which is why it's harder. Because now you have to lift a hot iron tub quickly before it cools down, put the batter in there, and then close it and squeeze it, put it in the oven. So it's timing and the heat and just all of that. Anyways, if you happen to find one or have one and you would like to have a video, let me know. If you want a video in general, video demonstrating actually making them in each cookie maker, comment below and we'll go from there. All right, and this is the end of walnut cookie making. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you soon.